Welcome to the oldest city in the Americas. Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic is a city with a rich history dating back to the late 1400s. If you're new here, we're Cole and Emily Cruz, a husband and wife duo traveling the world by sailboat. We recently arrived to the Dominican Republic, where we're taking a little time off the boat to do some land travel. Today we're visiting the colonial zone, and this place is chock full of charm and history. Guys, good morning. It is a super special morning. We have made it to Santo Domingo, the big city, and we're not riding around with just anybody. If you guys watched our Lost Arenas video, you'll know we stayed in a lovely home while we were there. And now we are actually getting to meet our host of that home. This is Victoria. She lives in Santo Domingo. And we linked up after staying in her home a couple weeks ago and said, hey, we're headed to Santo Domingo. She's like, we should get together. So we're going to breakfast.
It's called Adrian Tropical. It's a pretty popular place for Dominicans, for tourists. It's right on the ocean. You get a nice Dominican coffee. It's, I think, a good place to start your visit.
Gracias.
Okay, so the mangú, guys, that is a typical Dominican breakfast. Mashed green bananas, fried cheese, and the salami.
So we just had a lovely breakfast, and we're doing a little driving tour.
This is the Palacio Nacional, Presidential Palace.
We had a lovely breakfast with Victoria this morning. We've gone back to our Airbnb, did a quick change, and now we are in the Zona Colonial, which translates to the colonial zone, also known as the oldest city in all of the Americas, dates back to the late 1400s. I am so excited to explore this with you today.
We knew we wanted to start here with a little bit of coffee. As we were getting to the coffee shop, we met a English-speaking tour guide, and we're gonna go for a quick 2-hour tour of the colonial zone. So we are riding in what Jorge just called the Dominican Tesla, which is this little 3-wheeled electric golf cart, if you will. It is a pretty good little thing here. So the waterfront here is what they call the Malecón.
Yes.
Malecón. And what's really interesting is we're at the mouth of the river here that comes into Santo Domingo, and you can see the color change from here, where it's that brackish fresh water running into the salt water. This is the Three Sisters coming up, right?
Yes, Mirabar sister.
Yeah.
Honor, yes.
Behind us is a monument or statue that looks very similar in shape to that of what we know as the Washington Monument, but on here is painted 3 different sisters that were gruesomely killed by a dictator in the 1960s. And this dictator actually killed over 80,000 Dominicans just to show his power. And the reason why the sisters were killed is supposedly the husbands of the sisters were imprisoned for political reasons going against the dictator, and so he ended up going and wiping out the wives. So we are at what's known as the Mercy Door, which was built in remembrance of the Taino Indians, which were the original native Indians of not only the Dominican Republic, but most of the Caribbean, really. So we've now traveled a decent amount, and at nowhere in time have we ever felt unsafe. But here in the big city, they have a heightened sense of security, and the police station actually has an entire department for tourist protection. I don't feel unsafe anywhere. It's really nice.
So our tour has now taken us to Independence Square, and we have walked inside what's known as the Altar de la Patria, which is basically a mausoleum for the founding fathers of the Dominican Republic. And us as Americans, we can kind of relate this to the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. So behind me are the 3 founding fathers. Dominican Republic gained their independence from Haiti back in 1844 after a 20-year conflict. And this building was actually built in the 1970s. So it's really cool to come here and experience the history and learn a little bit about this great country that we are really coming to know and love very quickly.
So here at Independence Square, there are 34 statues of influential people from the Dominican Republic's liberation or independence, including Maria Trinidad Sanchez, who developed the first Dominican Republic flag. The Baco Familia? El Baco Familia. Okay, we're gonna split it.
We just passed the Spanish TV station here in Santo Domingo, and for those of you who've been following along for a while, you know that I used to be a news anchor. And it's funny going to these new places and not knowing anything about these places. That journalism part of me is still in my core, where I want to know facts and be able to share them with you. And Jorge has been so kind today. He knows enough English for us to talk, and we know a teeny bit of Spanish to be able to communicate, but he's been helping me with facts as we go places. Hola! ¿Qué lo que? For any of you who are traveling to Santo Domingo, be sure to check out the description below. I'm gonna leave Jorge's number and his contact information, so if you come here and want to book a tour with him, he'll be able to hook you right up. He offers several different tours. You can customize the tour to whatever you're wanting to do.
So this building on the left side was the first university of America. Santo Tomás de Aquino, 1538. But now it's not a university, now it's the monastery of nuns.
So as you can see behind me, if you're ever coming here to Santo Domingo and you want to do a group tour, you can do this by train, where they have a recording as you go around the city, both in Spanish and English. Kind of similar to what you would find in Savannah, Georgia, or St. Augustine, or even in Key West.
This square is a Duarte Square. Juan Pablo Duarte, he was the founder of the Dominican Republic from Haiti. Haiti governed this island for 22 years, the 1822 to 1844. But Duarte, Sanchez and Mella, the liberation of this island.
Behind me is the oldest church in the Americas. It's the Cathedral here, which is Catholic. Catholicism is the predominant denomination or religion here in Latin America. And this church was actually started in 1504 and completed in 1550, making it the oldest church in the Americas.
We have made it to Columbus Square, and this is the most popular spot in the colonial zone. You can see lots of people just hanging out, reading the paper, feeding the birds. There's, I see a little pizzeria over here to my left. So I hear some, what sounds like maybe live music, but certainly a great little hangout. Obviously a monument of Columbus behind me, and lots of big fat pigeons around. So these birds get fed really, really well. I'm a little nervous to walk up there because I've been pooped on a few times in my life, and I really don't want today to be the day for that to happen. ¿Qué lo que? The owner here, Mariella, was just showing us the different types of stones they have. So they have the Larimar, which you guys saw in our Las Terrenas video when I bought this beautiful bracelet. And they also have black coral and several different types of amber, all which is mined here in the Dominican Republic. Larimar is only found here in the Dominican Republic, so it's just really cool to see these stones. And in this workshop here is where they work with the stones to make them the different shapes and sizes, like this round piece that I have right here, and it's just really cool to see. What is this?
Yeah, question, you wanna try?
Yeah,
Yeah.
see.
This is the Mama Juana drink, the liquor Dominican. This is plants inside, red wine, rum, and honey.
What do you think?
It's good, actually. Tastes like a sangria.
Oh, that looks nice. That goes together well.
Señores, el que pueda ayudarme a comprar esta... Dos. Y después dos. Tres. Es que se me olvidó eso. Desaparecido. grande. ¡Ay! ¡Ahí está! ¡Ahí está!
It's time for a nice little stroll down El Conde Street, Santo Domingo's only pedestrian street. What's really unique about this street is that it's the first location of concrete buildings here in the colonial zone, and the first place in which the elevators were ever established here in the Dominican Republic. Santo Domingo was laid out as a grid pattern, which ended up becoming the model for all new cities in the New World thereafter.
We have made it to Calle Las Damas, which translates in English to Lady Street. It's named Lady Street after the local dignitaries, the women who took evening strolls along this street at night. And it is one of the most picturesque spots in all of the colonial zone here. And it was said that this was the first ever cobblestone road in the New World. And unfortunately now, it's nothing but brand new pavers. But the street here is lined with Spanish-style houses and European churches, which is a nod to the city's ancient past. And just to my east here is Fort Ozama, which is the fort, the waterside fort dating back to the 16th century.
So unfortunately the fort is closed today, but this is the first fort of the Americas. This fort is the first thing that you would see if you were to ever come up the river. You have the fort up front from 1505. And of course, we all remember that Columbus sailed the high sea in 1492. So this thing was built shortly thereafter.
So we've walked around the corner a little bit here in the colonial city and we've come upon this building. This is the one side where there's not scaffolding. On the other side, there's a lot of repairs going on. This is what was the first monastery of the New World, dating back to 1508. It belonged to the first order of Franciscan friars who arrived to evangelize the island. It's been through quite a lot in its time. It was once set on fire by Sir Francis Drake. It was rebuilt and then an earthquake came and messed it up, and then it was rebuilt again, hit by another earthquake, and then it actually served as a mental asylum in the 20th century until a hurricane caused it to shut down. So I can't imagine what all these walls have seen inside in its several 100-year history. I can see some people working inside, and from what I've read on Google, it says it's been closed for several years for renovations, and we can certainly see the scaffolding on the other side. But I also read, and I don't know if this is currently happening because it is closed, that they have merengue concerts every Sunday night. So what an amazing place for a concert venue. I mean, truly beautiful. We have made it to Los Tres Ojos National Park, which basically means the three eyes for the three lakes that are here.
So to start out here, we are going 49 feet down these stairs to the bottom into this cavern, which is actually pretty cool. It's all limestone cavern, kind of very similar to the caves that we've seen in the Bahamas.
I don't know what's happening, but it looks like there's a boat that goes through the caverns.
You guys know by now that anytime there's something going on, we just want to be involved. And as you can see, Emily signed herself up for a little bit of a workout.
This is a good arm workout.
All right, so we made it to the number three eye, or the cenote that's here, as they would call it in Mexico. It is absolutely beautiful. The vegetation just grows all the way around it, kind of leaning up over the edges. You have all of the roots growing down from the cliffside. This is actually really, really cool.
Guys, there is so much in this city that I want to show you. We are passing through what feels like just a regular city in America. Honestly, we passed IKEA, multiple car dealerships. We've seen Wendy's and KFC and McDonald's, and literally feels like we're back in Tampa. But unfortunately, we have limited time here because we are off to our next adventure. I think we gotta come back to Santo Domingo soon. Who knows, maybe this summer. Summer plans are still up in the air, so yeah, might find our way back here. It's been awesome. We have thoroughly enjoyed our time in the city, albeit very quickly. But we are headed to the mountains of the Dominican Republic. Can't wait to see you guys next week and show you where we are going. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and yeah, let us know what you want to see next. We'll see you next week.